You can still get your $600 a week FPUC for your weeks before July if you certified like I told you several weeks ago. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LALATE. Hope you're great and safe. A real bombshell about FPUC and a calculation about that $600 a week that no one saw coming right now. This is Afternoon's LALATE, and there's a foghorn on set. So if you hear a strange sound, that's not Mitch McConnell passing air. It's actually a foghorn. Afternoon's LALATE is every day at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Starts with a check and then goes to hazard pay, FPUC, and finally rent assistance. But really big news right now about FPUC, which I had warned you about, and it's great news. I had warned you about this several weeks ago, so let me go over the calculations for you. It's very simple. Basically, if you applied for UI or PUA before late July, before they expired, and represented your date of impact by COVID-19 was earlier, March or May or June, something like that, you're going to get $600 a week. Absolutely. You're going to get what's called retroactive $600 a week, despite what's going on with Larry Kudlow, the executive order, the Democrats, the Republicans, and Mark Meadows having too much tartar sauce for lunch. You're going to get $600 a week. Let me explain to you what happened and how this works, because I had represented to you, let me back up. Several weeks ago, I told you coming up is an expiration of FPUC. I said coming up is that expiration. Now, I understand this channel is a little bit smaller than we're adding 10,000 subscribers every 24 hours approximately. And I said get on UI or FPUC or PUA right now if you qualify. If you qualify, don't wait. Well, it turns out there was an extra twist that was very beneficial about that advice that I didn't even realize at the moment. When you applied for UI or PUA back in, let's say, early July, when I told you to do so, it doesn't matter as you sit here right now and watching this video, if you have that application on file and it's approved, or have that application on file and it's pending. Either one is absolutely incredibly great news, and I'll tell you why. Because the minute that it's approved, then you can certify for benefits back to that original date that you listed, whether it's, March or May or June. And at that point, you get $600 a week from that week all the way up to the end of FPUC at $600 a week, which is late July. Yeah. Imagine that. As we go from dark to light, everything is happening on the set today. It's like, chiaroscuro. And then we have foghorns. So this is really incredible news. The way it works is FPUC of $600 per week under the CARES Act, provided that anyone who certified for benefits and was on UI or PUA from the point of March all the way up to late July gets $600 a week. So it doesn't matter that we're sitting here in August. That is completely irrelevant. The point is that you got on the program when the program was at that calculation. That's the amount of money you're going to get for those weeks. Yes. What I also want to make very clear to you as well is if your state is backed up and delayed or prolonged, if your application is processing, if you see this dragging out a few more weeks and then you're heading into late August, you're like, LALATE, it's still late August. Am I still going to get the $600 a week? Yes, because you applied when it was $600 a week. That's how it works. There was a very big report issued today by CNBC that said, hey, people need to understand that the $600 a week is still being paid to people under the federal government for those that worked during those respective weeks, and those states have paid out those weeks. What's important to understand is that what expired in late July was eligibility time frame for $600 a week. Did not stop the federal government from paying for $600 a week. Now, As you sit here, if you haven't done anything, what will happen? Nothing. So this is the bad news for purposes of $600. If you're sitting here and did not follow my advice and you say, oh, I could have applied for PUA, let me go apply for it now. Sorry, Charlie, like that tuna commercial. Sorry, Charlie, we only have albacore. Sorry, Charlie, you can't get $600 a week. Yeah, because that was then. That's why I tell you, when you see these things, I tell you to grab them then. So this is called retroactive benefits. So let me give you an example. If you applied for UI or PUA, it's processing or whatever, and gets approved, let's say next Monday, and your date of impact for COVID-19 is March, and we're sitting here, in August, what you're going to go do is go into your state's website and certify for benefits every respective week from March all the way up to the present. What you're going to get is your unemployment benefit that week, and then $600 up on top of that, all the way up to that date of expiration of late July for $600. Okay, so how about everyone after that? This is what's important to understand. When we talk about unemployment benefits in oh my God, we're like going into the darkness now. This is really screwy weather. I think it's just, the flies are going to come in, and the mosquitoes, like in the 10th commandment or the first, everything's going to happen. I just predict it. Fog and darkness. When you go into the current landscape of benefits after late July, then you are under the new calculation for FPUC. So when you're certifying for benefits, this week, and you're on UI or PUA, then you're under the current calculation. And people are asking me, what is it? And will you see it? The second answer is easier. I don't think you're ever going to see it. It has become literally a mess. And what turned out to be a move by the president to send out unemployment benefits to solve a stalemate in the negotiations has really turned it into a press nightmare. It has not gone well. The problem why it has not gone well is that yesterday, Larry Kudlow basically came out and said, that executive order, it's totally ineffective, so we're going to change it again. And so he changed it by just talking. He said that states were unwilling to put money in. And so instead of $400 a week, it's now $300 a week. Well, guess what? States are just still not willing to even process it. They're going bankrupt, and they're not willing to deal with it. And so as I sit here now, your state may be willing to deal with the $300 a week, now FPUC, but someone else's state may not. One viewer asked me overnight to please explain escalated benefits, which I've not explained in a while. And it's actually more important than hearing about Larry Kudlow and his change of $100 every 10 minutes. Escalated benefits means that you qualify for more money than base level benefits of UI and PUA. It's a lot of money, so watch right now, get a pen and paper. No one does this. I've been doing escalated benefit videos since April 25th when this channel launched. It's incredibly important. No one does this type of analysis because it's not particularly clear. Let me start. When you start on UI or PUA, you come in at your state's what's called base level benefit. The base level number in every state is different. You can Google your state. It can be $89, it could be $189. It's generally not more than $200. It's generally about $80 to about $190 base level weekly benefits. Same whether you're on UI, same whether you're on PUA. And what's important to understand is it doesn't pay more for UI or PUA. They're both the base level benefits. Now, what is escalated benefits? Escalated benefits means that you qualify for enhanced benefits or more benefits than those base level amounts. How is it calculated? It looks at your 2019 tax return. Well, I didn't file a 2019 tax return. Well, you can't get it. It looks at your 2019 tax return. What part of the 2019 tax return? The part that shows your income. So if you are an Uber Lyft driver, you're Schedule C. If you are a business owner, you're 1099, your 1120S. if it's if it's an S corporation or an LLC that's an S corporation, it looks at financial documents. How do I qualify? What is the threshold to reach escalated benefits? Generally about $30,000, 2019 gross revenue. Yeah, it's really low. So if you made any decent amount of gross revenue in 2019, you qualify for escalated benefits. How much of the escalated benefits, LALATE? The full amount. Generally, if you made $30,000 or more in gross rev in 2019, you qualify for escalated benefits of the full escalation. Well, how does this work? Well, you start at your base level benefits, let's say $89, and then every state has their maximum benefits. What is the maximum benefit? You can Google that as well. It's generally somewhere between $250 to $450. The most money is usually in the North New England states. The lowest amount of money is usually in the Southwest. So you look at the maximum amount of benefits. If you qualify for the maximum amount of benefits, that's your number. That's what your weekly benefits will be. If you didn't make $30,000, let's say you made $20,000, well, you might land somewhere in that spectrum between the... Oh my God. It sounds like it sounds like the Hot Mess Express just, blew a tire, doesn't it? Who else has sound effects like this on set? I mean, just... It sounds like Mark Meadows is just exhausted. So when you're looking at the base level benefits to maximum benefits, you may not have made $30,000. It's somewhere in that range. But mostly, generally, the viewers of this channel, if they're thinking about escalated benefits, they made the $30,000, they qualify for the escalated benefits. So how do you go for the escalated benefits? The way you do it is you pull your 2019 tax returns and you contact your state unemployment benefits office and say, hey, I qualify for escalated benefits. Here is my amount of money. How do I do that? That was the number one question I had in all my videos back in May and June. Basically, you have to hope your state has a place on its website to upload documents. Write the document, write a nice letter, attach a copy of your tax returns with a PDF and say, hey, hi, I think I qualify for escalated benefits. Here is my 2019 earnings. I'm currently at base level benefits. Please review. Thank you so much. Be very respectful. Don't tell them I sent you. Don't tell them the guy in the purple shirt did the calculation for it. It's funny for me to say that, but actually people do this. I watched this YouTube video, and this guy said to do this. Can you go watch his video? Because I think that's how I get... They actually... Don't do that. Don't do that. You got to talk on your own record. I'm educating you how to do it. So be very respectful. Say, here I am, here's this, and there you go. The worst case scenario is those websites in state unemployment offices that don't have uploads. So then what happens is that, how do you get it to them? And I had that big problem in California early on in the early weeks of May. And I said, Federal Express and overnight mail it. It's $3.50, $4, mail it to them so they get the information. When you do that, you could be making, $400 a week, plus Larry Kudlow's $300 a week, $750 a week. Or when this stuff hits the fan flying with the negotiations, we could be back at $600 a week. That's $400, but $600, $1,000 a week, 4 weeks in the month. $4,000 a month. And if you've been watching this channel, you've been certifying for benefits, and you're still waiting for your benefits, and let's say you're waiting back from March, April, May, June, July, August. Oh my. 6 weeks at $24,000 in back retroactive benefits. Yes, I know how to get you money. That's why this channel's at 170,000 subscribers. It's not because I have great sound effects. It's because I know how to get you the money you're entitled to get you. So with that regard, go to the front of this channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that alert button. A lot of people have asked me, I've not gotten alerts when a new video goes live. Drop it in the comments and I will send you a link to YouTube that says how to make your account public for purposes of subscribing so I can watch and see if you did it right. We're at about 7,000 new subscribers a day. I have a question for you, so I want your answers as well in the comments below. As you know or may not know, we have a thing called the private, which helps people get their EIDL grants and loans, which is not the same as FPUC or PUA. And it's been very successful, But one viewer yesterday said he wished to volunteer his services to help some of you do your PUA and UI applications if you need assistance. And I'm wondering if you would want that as another private to have that person or anyone else that wants to volunteer their time to help people figure out things. I understand these unemployment offices don't answer the phone. I understand it's very confusing. I understand there's no one else out there to help you. I've seen the questions. I've seen the questions about PUA and UI. I've been seeing them for weeks. And Hazard Pay is the next one. So if you think it would be assisting to you to have another private Instagram account for purposes of PUA questions, for someone to answer your PUA questions. I don't know if the person, I've never worked with the person before, so I know nothing about what he brings to the table. But if you think it does, and if other people want to help others that are currently on PUA or UI because of my assistance, because I've helped so many people get $10, $20, $30, $40,000 on UI and PUA over the last several months, then if you also want to help, drop in the comments and say, I would be a mentor. I would help other people as well. It's that sort of spirit and helpfulness that this channel is built upon. This is not a channel for people to, do this or do that or do this or do that. We are here to help one another. And ultimately, if we help one another, we're going to get through this together. So hit that subscribe alert button, drop in the comments below, and join me on the next video, which is rent assistance, which is really also very critically important. Oh, and before I forgot, there is a grant program that came out in Colorado yesterday. And I forgot to bring the name of it on set. So if you go to Google, type in Grant Program Colorado, there's a new grant program in Colorado if you're a Colorado resident. As always, join me next on Afternoons at LALATE, and as always, stay informed, motivated, inspired, and save LA for more.